Hey, this is Zach Log the Great. So, I just wanted to get down a few thoughts about the confirmation hearings of Brett Kavanaugh. Um be perfectly honest, this whole thing has me so frustrated and angry that I couldn't really I couldn't really get myself to sit down and write something out clearly, so I'm winging it a little bit. Um, that said, um, there's a quote from Immanuel Kant. He says, "Act only according to that maxim whereby you can, at the same time, will that it should become a universal law." And I have a question for the leftists who are, you know, demanding his confirmation cease, demanding that he not be put on the bench. Is this actually the world you want to live in? Is this actually the standard you want? Because what you do now sets the standard for what comes later. I mean, to talk in legal terms, you're setting a precedent. And is this the precedent you want? That someone can come forward from 30 years ago with a completely unsubstantiated, completely unevidenced accusation of rape. Oh, I'm sorry. Technically, she just said sexual assault, and then everyone else turned it into rape. Okay. But that someone can come forward from 30 years ago with no evidence, with no witnesses, and completely wreck your life. Is that the world you want to live in? And you know, Blasey Ford's testimony, the claims she made, the way she put these terms, it is completely unfalsifiable. She can't give a place. She can't give a date. Okay? Without those things, if you're charged with murder, the best thing the best thing you have going for you is an alibi. When the murder took place, I was over there with 5 other people. Okay, that's what I was doing. Or I have documentary evidence because there was a receipt from an ATM with my card 50 miles away at that moment. Couldn't even give a year clearly. Like that changed. You can't give an alibi for somewhere in the early 80s. That's impossible. And so, based on this, you want to completely upend a man's life. Those of you on the right, I want you to learn from this. I want you to look carefully at what's going on. You cannot give them an inch when they come at you with this kind of thing, with completely trumped up charges, or with accusations of some kind of thought crime. You cannot apologize, and you cannot try to negotiate with them. You cannot treat the left like they're acting in good faith, because we can all see that they are not. That power is the only thing they care about. And I'm recording this Saturday morning. I'm recording this Saturday, October 10th. And Saturday, October 6th. Sorry. And it looks like Kavanaugh is going to be confirmed, and I am so glad. Because if this worked, if Kavanaugh, Brett Kavanaugh, was not confirmed to the Supreme Court, we would be showing them that these tactics work. That completely unevidenced accusation and completely ridiculous accusations. Okay, Blasey Ford's was plausible. Okay, it was imaginable that that happened, but Julia Swetnick, like her, you have to be out of your mind to think that her story is true. And you know, if we let if we let this work, completely unevidenced accusations, and these protesters who are it's mob intimidation is what it is. Cornering someone and just yelling at them. And if we let this work, we are rewarding this behavior, and we will get more of it, and it will increase, and it will turn up the volume. Time and time again, it's going to get worse and worse and worse every time we surrender. Every time we let them win with these tactics, they will increase them. And there's not that much farther to go before people start dying. To my fellow men out there, Vice President Mike Pence doesn't look so bad now. I remember during the election when it came out that he would not even go to dinner alone with a woman who's not his wife, and that he would not have alcohol at a public event if his wife is not with him. And I remember the left going absolutely crazy, mocking him about this, and saying, "What? He doesn't trust himself. I guess he's some kind of potential rapist, and he knows it, so he has all these things around himself." And there is an element of self-control in that. There is an element of making sure that your behavior stays in limits. But yeah, no woman's gonna come forward credibly with claims that he did anything like this. He's protected himself, and just even apart from the moral question, pretty darn smart person in his position. Guys, be careful. Not that long ago, 50, 60 years ago in our society, we had all these standards, and we had chaperones, and an unmarried man and woman were not supposed to be alone together, and it was there were all these guardrails. And then some people decided they were smarter than all that, and some people decided that the everything we've learned from thousands of years of Western civilization doesn't really mean anything. They're smarter than all that. They tore all those guardrails down, and look at where we are now. Lastly, to women, to honest, decent women out there, if you are remotely as disgusted and horrified by watching this as I am, It is up to you to stop this. It is up to you to protect your sons, your husbands, your brothers, your fathers. It is up to you, okay? In Western civilization, men know how to deal with other men who are out of line. And, it's not necessarily pretty, but the potential for violence is a part of that. We know what to do, and we can pretty much keep in line other men who are going off the rails. But the way we've set things up, it is very difficult for men to control, for men to deal with women who are getting out of line, for men to deal with women who are breaking social norms, who are abusing and harassing men. Like the woman who cornered Senator Jeff Flake in an elevator and was just yelling at him and berating him. If that was a man, he would have been arrested and out of there in 2 seconds. No question. Okay. But because it's a woman, any physical force used to control her behavior looks very bad. And women, it's up to you. You have to look at the women who are doing these things, and you have to make clear to them it is unacceptable. You have to stop them. You have to shame them. You have to mock them. And you have to put them back in line. If you love your sons, if you love your brothers, your husbands, your fathers, defending them against female aggression is on you. We'll take care of the men. In Western civilization, we're actually pretty good at protecting women against men who are gone out of line. Or we were when we had borders. But women, you have to do your part too. And I think that's pretty much covered it. Like Brett Kavanaugh, I like beer, and God be with you.